You know what's quietly fascinating? Some of the most emotionally perceptive and psychologically aware people you'll ever meet didn't develop those abilities through formal education, self-help books, or years of meditation. They developed them because, at some point in their lives, they had no other choice. Their awareness wasn't optional, it was necessary. Their nervous system was shaped by environments where reading between the lines, sensing shifts in mood, and anticipating reactions wasn't just helpful, it was essential for feeling safe. Psychologists have begun to describe this phenomenon as traumatic intelligence. And if this is the first time you're hearing that term, that's exactly why this conversation matters. Here's the core idea. Trauma doesn't only leave scars, it can also sharpen perception. In developmental psychology, research suggests that children raised in emotionally unpredictable or complex environments often become highly attuned to subtle social and emotional signals. Their brains, especially areas like the amygdala and prefrontal cortex, adapt early, becoming finely tuned instruments for detecting nuance that most people overlook. What emerges is a form of intelligence that isn't always visible on the surface, but operates with remarkable depth beneath it. The first sign is this: you can read a room before a single word is spoken. You walk into a space and something inside you immediately switches on, a quiet alertness. You notice the tension in someone's shoulders, the flicker of an expression that disappears almost instantly, the unspoken dynamic in the air. This isn't mystical intuition, it's pattern recognition. Your brain learned early on to scan for emotional cues because doing so once kept you safe. The second sign is a deep attunement to other people's emotional needs, sometimes even before they recognize those needs themselves. You can tell when someone is struggling, even when they insist they're fine. You feel shifts in emotional energy that others miss entirely. Psychologists often refer to this as hyper-empathy. It tends to develop in individuals who had to closely monitor the emotional states of those around them growing up. You didn't just learn to understand emotions, you learned to track them. The third sign is your ability to problem solve under pressure. When situations become chaotic or stressful, something in you becomes calm, focused, and strategic. While others may freeze, you adapt. This is what researchers sometimes call stress inoculation, the idea that repeated exposure to difficulty calibrates the brain to function effectively in high-stakes moments. For you, pressure isn't unfamiliar, it's something your system already knows how to navigate. Fourth, you tend to think deeply, sometimes relentlessly, about human behavior. You analyze conversations long after they've ended. You look for meaning behind actions that others barely notice. You ask yourself why people do what they do. This isn't overthinking without reason.
Once felt
it's a skill
necessary,
shaped
so your
over time.
mind became a constant observer, a quiet student of human nature. Now, pause for a moment and consider this. Everything you've heard so far, your awareness, your empathy, your analytical depth, these are not weaknesses disguised as strengths. They are real adaptations. They reflect just how responsive and intelligent the human brain can be when faced with challenge. And there's more. The sixth sign is a strong sense of self-reliance. You don't instinctively wait for others to step in and help. You figure things out on your own. You build solutions quietly and independently. To others, this might seem surprising, but developmentally, it makes perfect sense. When support wasn't always consistent, your mind learned to rely inward. Independence wasn't just a trait, it became a form of protection. The seventh sign is emotional intensity. You don't just experience life, you feel it deeply. Music resonates with you on another level. Injustice doesn't just bother you, it affects you viscerally. Even small acts of kindness can move you in profound ways. This heightened emotional experience is linked to a sensitized nervous system, particularly the amygdala, which has been shaped by repeated emotional activation. You're not just observing the world, you're experiencing it in high resolution. Eighth, you may find it difficult to trust, but when you do, it runs deep. Your trust isn't easily given, and that's not cynicism, it's calibration.
Your brain learned early that not every signal of safety could be taken at face value, so it developed filters. Those filters may make connections slower, but they also make it more meaningful. When you trust someone, it's genuine, intentional, and resilient. The ninth sign is a complicated relationship with rest. Stillness can feel uncomfortable, even unsettling. When things slow down, your mind doesn't always follow. It stays alert, scanning, processing. This is your nervous system doing exactly what it was trained to do: remain vigilant. Ironically, the same intelligence that helped you adapt now requires conscious effort to soften. Learning to rest for you isn't simple, it's a form of reclaiming safety. And finally, the 10th sign, perhaps the most defining, is a deep sense of meaning. You don't move through life on autopilot. You've thought about pain, your own and others, and something within you has refused to let it be pointless. Research on post-traumatic growth shows that many individuals who face adversity develop a stronger sense of purpose, clarity, and understanding of what truly matters. In a way, you were introduced to life's deeper questions earlier than most. Here's what's important to hold on to. Traumatic intelligence isn't something to glorify without acknowledging the cost. The insight, the awareness, the depth, they came from real experiences, and those experiences weren't easy. But psychology offers a powerful perspective. The human brain isn't only shaped by hardship in damaging ways, it is also transformed by it. It adapts, it refines, it learns. The perceptiveness you carry, the empathy you offer, the way you interpret the world, none of it is accidental. It's the architecture of a mind that had to evolve quickly, and did. So the real question is how you became this way. The real question is, what will you do with the intelligence you've built?